Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks. Alongside James here this evening, my name is Ryan Chambers. Thank you so much for being with us here this evening as the Dallas Stars do get the win tonight over the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 5-3. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor. Their promo code is THPN. That's the promo code that lets them know that we are the ones that sent you. I apologize for the delay in this, but it also kind of worked out a little bit. If I had done it right afterwards, James would not have been able to do it with me. So it would have been me, and no one likes to do it with just me. And, they want to hear the opinions of the experts and James and Chris, right? So that's what we decided to do. And it also worked out just because I got to watch some guys from my childhood kind of play on the ice here tonight. There was Brad Lukowicz, Marty Turco, Kari Lettman was out there. He actually looked like he could still play in the NHL now, believe it or not. Anyways, lots of rambling. James, first off, how are you doing tonight? And then second off, what's your initial thoughts from tonight's game?
I'm doing great. Been a nice full day of going to church. So, but from the game, I mean, the games, I mean, I feel like this is just how it's going to be with Miro out now. I mean, we're gonna have to score a bunch, and we're gonna give up 3 every game, which is crazy. That one defenseman makes you go from almost 2 goals allowed per game to now it's going to be like over 3. It feels like.
Oh, that's just the way it's going to have to be for the Dallas Stars, and they're going to have to change the way that they win games. So, anyways, it's kind of nice for the Stars to get the win, despite everything turmoil-wise that is happening in the Dallas sports landscape. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're living under a rock. I was quite upset last night, but anyways, it's nice for the Stars to go out and get the win tonight. And probably the biggest storyline going into the game here was, yes, Granlund gets into the game. Yes, Cody CeCe gets into the game as well. But also Mason Marchment makes his triumphant return to the lineup. What did you see from any of those 3 guys tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Marchment looked great. He looked like he didn't miss a beat. It was like maybe his 3rd or 4th shift that he tried to dangle someone and put the puck on net, missed like a foot wide. But yeah, he looked like himself. He looked pretty awesome. He's crashing into the boards like always, fighting for pucks. And I go to CeCe first. I thought CeCe looked fine, kind of invisible. That's all I want. be invisible, and that this team will go very far. And then Granlund, I mean, you could tell that he was not quite adjusted to the system yet. There were miscues at point, but it's going to be a thing that he gets with time, and he still ends up getting an assist tonight too. So he himself is a very skilled individual. He's going to be even better once he gets used to this system that the Stars play.
Well, and for those that don't know, like, they literally flew in last night to Dallas, and since it was an earlier game, it started at 5:00. There were no meetings, nothing for him to catch up on. So they're kind of set on a side tangent, both CeCe and Granlund, because they were obviously the ones that talked to the media in the scrum today. They both just off camera were just kind of like, yeah, we had no idea what was going on to begin the game with the systems and stuff. So it was kind of funny to hear that from them.
And they played quite a bit. So DeBoer trying to help them learn just by playing a bunch. Granlund played 16:40 and Cody CeCe played 22:16. So he just tried to, I mean, that's pretty high minutes. That's more than I thought CeCe would play even. Some of that might help with having the late 2-goal lead, but I thought they looked pretty decent for having never played with this team before.
I was very impressed with both of their plays, honestly. And, it's really nice when you've got 2 brand new players and you still find a way to win the game. And it's not like this Columbus team is like a pushover either. Like, it's it's ridiculous. It was this one, like the Columbus team has been one of the top 5 teams since Christmas. They showed that graphic on Victory Plus. Dallas, I think, was second.
No, they're tied for first.
Now they're tied for first. Okay, so
they were tied for first then.
Yeah.
So it's Dallas, Detroit, Columbus, Islanders, Winnipeg since Christmas.
Just fantastically nuts how great those two guys played. For me, Marchment coming back in the game in the first period, he looked extremely fresh. Like you could tell he wanted to get back in the game. And DeBoer actually beat us to his post game conference to all the media. He was already waiting for us, and the first thing he mentioned was about Marchment and how Marchment's been talking to him for almost a week about trying to get into game. He was just so eager to get in, and it was incredible to witness how he played tonight. He played really well, so it's great to have him back. Speaking of Marchment and noses and stuff like that, we did get an update on Maverick Bork. Maverick, it looks like it was just a really nasty gash. So it's just stitches. I saw it myself. He's gonna be fine. And it's nothing, not even close to what Marchment's injury was. Marchment literally could not breathe through his nose for a long time. This is just got a really nasty gash across his forehead. So that'll be okay. And moving forward, let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any more injuries in the Stars lineup.
Yeah, I mean the puck was out for blood tonight. I mean it hit 4 or 5 people in the head. Which I guess is a side product of Mason Marchment coming back into the game. I don't know why the puck wants to go up when he's in the game, but he comes right back in and the puck instantly goes for people's heads. It's quite terrifying. Many scares throughout the game. There was even one that almost went up into the Columbus bench and hit their head coach in the head. So
I did see that.
There was the puck was out for blood tonight. It really was.
Well, let me ask you about how the lines stack up, because it was an early game, it was a 5:00 start, and because there was no morning skate, nobody had any idea what the lines were going to look like with Marchment coming back in, and also with Granlund and CeCe coming in as well. So we saw the nuclear top line of Robo, Hintz, and Wyatt Johnston. No surprise there. The second line was, this was just to start off the game, by the way. They did change through as the game would go on. But the second line was Marchment, Duchesne, and Bork. Third was Ben, Granlund, and Dadonov. And the fourth line was Oscar Back, Sam Steele, and obviously Logan Stankoven. At least off the bat, what did you think of those forward lines?
The top 3 look good. The fourth line obviously feels pretty mismatched, because you want to keep Back in there, but really it feels more skilled than he's really wanting to play, which I feel like kind of holds back. It holds back Stankoven a little bit. It's not his fault though. That's just kind of how he plays, and that's how the fourth line of every team plays. But it does make it a little weird. But it makes you look at if Sagan comes back, and you move Bork, or you move who else would you move down to that fourth? Granlund. You move Bork or Granlund down to the fourth line, and you have Steele, Stankoven, Granlund, or Bork, and that's your fourth line. That's nuts. But yeah, the starting lines looked fine. Those are going to get jumbled a lot more, especially now that they're going to have some practice time. You throw them in a blender. They late in the game, they moved around all over the place. Didn't matter who they played with, and the team looks pretty solid still overall.
I was a little worried about the chemistries with the lines, but again, they scored 5 goals, and they were mismatching the lines throughout the game. It felt like they were. I mean, when you got 3 guys that come into the lineup just randomly, and they all come in, it's going to cause some. I don't want to say issues, but the guys are going to have to figure out how to play with each other.
Yeah, really, there were a couple of pairs where you see Marchment and Duchesne played with each other all night long because they just look so good together, and they literally instantly clicked back again, which is crazy to think about. Like, Marchment hasn't played a game with Duchesne for a month, and it's just straight back into it. And then kind of Wyatt and Robo had some stuff going on tonight. Wyatt and Dadonov had stuff going on. So small little pairs going on rather than whole lines really clicking tonight.
What'd you think of the defensive pairings tonight?
I hate Dumba. I hate that. He makes everyone he plays with look so bad. It's so depressing. But overall, I mean, it looks like CeCe is going to play a lot of minutes, which is fine by me because, like I said, he looked invisible. And if he's going to play 22 minutes a night and I got nothing to complain about, I mean, that's fantastic. It's you don't have to be like a out of your mind player to essentially be a second pairing right-handed when you have Esa Lindell on your line or as your D partner as well. I mean, it's not too hard. It makes it real easy. And that's who we've been looking for like a year. It feels like you just have to have someone who's decent on the right side. And we just can't find that for some reason. But look, hopefully CeCe can play like he did tonight. And it looks like that'll work out.
I'm mostly hoping he's going to be the fill-in for Dumba whenever somebody's back. Like, I mean, like, do we see Smith come back into the lineup as a defenseman? Because I'm over the whole Dumba experience. I'm over it. He just doesn't.
My biggest problem with Dumba is that it doesn't even look like he's trying to play the same way as the Stars play. I mean, he looks like he's never in the right structure. I think it was like the third goal when they got stuck on the ice for a long time, but like Dumba just starts chasing the dude with the puck. He just starts skating around wherever the puck goes, and it traps like 3 Stars players on one of the face-off circles because no one knows who's supposed to go for that dude now because Dumba's just been skating around the ice in circles for like a minute straight. It's terrible. He's not playing with the team. He's playing by himself, and it looks awful. He looks like a lost child out there.
And I would like to think he would get better as you go on. But, I mean, how many more games do you need? I mean, we're 50 games into the regular season, and it's just like, it doesn't seem like he's figured it out yet.
The only time he looked good is when Harley was babysitting him.
Fair enough. That was going to be one of my takeaways from the night was that just the Bischel Dumba pairing just was rough. And it wasn't just Dumba. Bischel had a kind of a rough game too.
I mean, yeah, you play with Dumba. Look what happens. It doesn't matter who plays with them. They look bad.
Just a couple of notes. I thought it was really neat for Granlund and CeCe to get introduced for the starting lineup. That was really cool of Pete DeBoer to kind of throw those guys out there and be like, okay, go. You're just gonna be thrown straight into the fire. So, the art of tipping was another thing I wanted to talk about with the goals tonight. We have not had a lot of tip-ins, and I think technically we had 2, but you could probably count one of them as the redirect as kind of a tip as well. So there were 3 tipped goals tonight.
Yeah, and it looked pretty good, especially the Marchment one. Marchment played that perfectly. He gets in the way of the goaltender, and then after Bischel takes the shot, he moves out of the way, lets the goalie see it for a split second, and tips it off course again. So that was a real nasty tip from Marchment, and the Wyatt Johnston redirect tip in looked really nice too. I mean, Johnston just puts his blade in the right spot and some nice fast passing to get it into the slot, and he just has to shank it towards the net, goes in. That was a great one. And then the Dadonov, I'll be honest, that was probably above the crossbar, but it's so close. There's no way you can tell, and he gets away with it. So it was close regardless, but it's a good tip too, and he knocks it down and in. So
it's ridiculous how much we've relied on Dadonov this year. He has been ridiculous for this team. He has, gone above expectations for him. I mean, again, he was supposed to play on the fourth line. That was the expectation at the beginning of the season before all the injuries and stuff like that, before all that stuff happened. And he's easily going to eclipse 20 goals this year. Easily. I don't even know where he's at. I just know he's probably 16, 17, 15. There you go. And he gets 2 big goals for the Dallas Stars tonight in the third period. It puts them ahead. And as for the high stick goal, they actually, you have to pay attention to the wording. They confirmed it. So confirmed means that it was not above the crossbar, and that's just what the ref said. So
I know what the ref
thought it looked
said,
a little bit
but
high too. I thought it looked a little bit high too, but when they say it's confirmed, it's a good goal. They didn't say the call on the ice stands. They said the call is confirmed, it's a good goal. So
yeah,
it wasn't high sticking.
it is what it is. The thing that kind of annoys me about that is that they went back and reviewed that one. The officials did, and they didn't go back and review the first one of the game, which DeBoer was asking them to, because it went off of Sillinger's skate and he pretty much kicked it in. That was another thing on the night, but it's close enough to a redirection that whatever. And I don't think that's a challenge that you do, especially early in the game. That's why you don't see the challenge come through. But I mean, if you're not gonna do the reviews on something close like that, and then you do it later in the game, that's what's always so weird with officials doing official reviews. Like you should have to challenge it or not.
I had to pull it up. Royce, the looked higher, talking about Dadonov's high stick goal, than the Mavs GM while trading Luka. I'm all about these Luka jokes right now, man. I'm not gonna get into it. This is the Stars podcast, but still, it was a good play by Dadonov. It was a funky goal too. It was obviously going wide, and somehow he redirected it back in. It was such a great goal for him. Also, kind of looking at some of the other goals here tonight, Wyatt Johnston continues to be ridiculous. He continues his streak that he's been on. Harley, something we've been talking about a lot lately, is with Miro out, it kind of forces Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott to give Harley PP1 duties. So, I mean, I'm just saying, they should have done this a long time ago.
Harley looks good, and he looked good on that power play goal too. I mean, he takes it from one corner of the offensive zone, skates across the top, in deep to open up the center of the ice there, and that's how he gets it to Johnston. And it was a great pass. I mean, and especially Harley seems to have a great shot pass, it feels like, because everyone seems to be able to tip it or just find a way to get something on it. So Harley's definitely looking good in that first power play unit spot. We'll see how much longer he can sustain it for, because that really is the most important thing, is being able to do it consistently.
What did you think about the amount of goals that were just kind of weird bank-ins or kind of jumped off play? I think there was like 3 between both of the teams tonight. It was Cole Sillinger's goal,
the first one,
Dadonov's second one, and then
the Ivan Provorov one. Provorov, thank you. That was the Columbus third goal that went off of Esa Lindell. So, it was weird. I feel like some of that comes down to not being strong in front of your own net for the Stars, because there were times when it just looked like free real estate there. And DeSmith had to make a couple of really big saves right in front of him. But when you're able to just throw everyone in front of the net, and you're not going to push and make space for DeSmith to see it, it's likely to bounce off and ricochet in sometimes. And luckily, it bounced both ways tonight. I mean, the Jackets got some really lucky ones, and I felt like the Stars got some pretty lucky ones too. So it evened out, and the Stars were able to score a couple more just from their skill, like with tipping.
What did you think of the team defense from both teams tonight? Because I know, despite the score being 5-3, I thought it was really good for a majority of the game. And I mean, like I said, 3 of the 8 goals were just weird. that just kind of bounced off of players.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there were key times in the game where I thought the Stars were really weak in front of their own net. I mean, specifically when Dumba's out there, he does not play where every other defenseman plays, which is pretty much the defenseman play on either post of the Stars' own net, and he does not play there. He goes wherever he wants, and it basically leaves Bischel in front to fight for himself. And that's, I mean, he was on the ice for 2 of the goals against. Of course, he was on the ice for 2 of the goals for as well, so his plus minus evens out. But it's, yeah, I just feel like there's stretches where it looks really bad, and that's just going to happen when you have injuries on the defensive side.
Couple of other things here with this game tonight. The Stars also do get another comeback win. Technically, this is a comeback win, and
they came back 3 times.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to mention, is that even though the Blue Jackets took a lead 3 times, the Stars crawled back into it and tied it back up, and then eventually took the lead. And again, they got an insurance marker, which we're starting to see more consistently from this team. And now they're at 5 wins in a row. So, I mean, what does that say about this team, that they're still able to do all that stuff? They're still missing Tyler Seguin. Now they're missing Miro Heiskanen. They've got new guys in the lineup. They're experimenting with lines because they don't know who works well with who with the new guys in. I mean, this is a good team, James.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why the Stars have been one of the best teams since Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, really what it is, it's your best players like Robo and Wyatt and Hintz playing up to the potential that they should have been playing from the get-go, and they all had slow starts. So you get those people coming back, and you get your depth still scoring, which is basically the only way we were winning games in the first place. And you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, this team's really good. And shocker, it's what we knew last year. So it's really nice to see.
Granlund also gets his first assist here tonight as well. We should mention that. And guess who actually is allowed to score? Logan Stankoven actually is allowed to score again. He gets a 2-goal game. What was it, like 2.5 weeks ago, or whatever it was?
Yeah,
and it just takes the Stars going out and, trading for a player in order for him to score. So great play by Granlund there. Even better finish by Stankoven on that second goal for Dallas.
Yeah. And like I said with Stankoven, he's got to find a way to start stringing games of these together, not just having one-off game where he gets a goal and an assist. He needs to start getting consistent points like we saw from Bork about a week ago, when he had like 5 or 6 games in a row that he was stringing points together in. So hopefully we can try and see Logan start that back up. At this late in the season, it's hard to have faith in that, because he's had so many chances to, it just hasn't. But we'll see. I mean, it's part of being a rookie in the NHL. It's learning how to do that.
So the other person I wanted to mention tonight, James, was Casey DeSmith, and kind of talk about his game personally. I thought he was pretty good. And again, I'll mention it again for the 3rd time. Just a couple of weird bounces off of his own players, and they go in behind the net. And really, the only one that like truly beat him was the Provorov goal, and he was screened. He was screened for a split second as the shot was coming towards him. So I thought he had a fine game tonight, and he did exactly what you need a backup to do. The one thing I would like to see him do better, and I'm only noticing it because Ottinger does this so well, is his rebound control. I wish he would control his rebounds just a little bit more, and not leave it out in pertinent areas of the ice. Especially, there was a couple of times tonight where he made the initial save, and the Stars, if they're playing the right team defense like they should be getting to those loose pucks first, and sometimes they weren't, and it would lead to a giant chance. Or there was also a couple of times when the Stars just got really incredibly lucky, and they like fanned on a shot, the Columbus player did or whatever, when it looked like a wide open net. But what did you see from Casey DeSmith tonight?
Yeah, I mean he's always going to give up those rebounds on the first shots. It's part of his game. It's one of the reasons why I said I feel like the Stars didn't play well around their net, because there were so many rebounds that Columbus was just able to pick up and extend their zone time. It's a tough one. It's your backup goaltender though, and he played pretty much exactly how you need him to.
He did exactly what he was, you know, he's paid for. So you just come in every once in a while and give out a rest and give your team a chance to win. And everything about this game was really good for the Stars, despite it being constantly back and forth and Columbus always being ahead by a goal. Special teams again tonight, just they take care of business, and everything you like. They got like a checklist. This was pretty good. This was pretty good. This was pretty good. All the experimentation still going on. They still get the 2 points. They still win. I would have been totally fine with them losing the game here tonight, despite all the things that they've had to deal with Marchment coming back. They got CeCe coming in, with Granlund coming in, and they surprised me. They played well, and they surprised me, and they get the 2 points against a really good Columbus team.
Yeah, it's been a really weird stretch of games where now they've played 4, or they've won 5 straight, and 4 of those the opposing team scored 3 goals, which is not normally how the Stars win games. But it's really nice to see. It shows you that the top end is shining through like it's supposed to, and you're getting some depth goals too, and that's what's helping you push through all of this. And especially the last 2 games, it's part of what having Miro out of the lineup means. You have to go and score more goals.
And that's what we're going to have to do while Miro is out, especially. Jacob saying we don't accept L's here, Ryan. Laugh out loud. Nope, we do not accept them. Let's see. Another one. Hemsky on the ice tonight in the alumni game? Yes, he was. He actually scored 2 goals for the green team tonight. He probably should have gotten MVP of the game as well. There was a lot of cool guys out there. Okay, James. Let's look at a couple of comments, and then we'll do biggest winner, biggest loser here. Let's see. Zach talking about Mush, being really excited that he's back. Let's see.
And they did shelter his minutes a bit. He only had like 13 and a half or something. No, just he had 13-11 time on ice, which he looked really good in. So.
Motto, thank God we have Hemi Neal and not that bonehead over on the Mavs side of things. I'm just going to start calling him he who must not be named, and his initials are NH, for those of you who care. And then also saying, feel bad for the Mavs. They went out and got rocked in Cleveland today. Did you see what the score was at halftime, James?
Yeah.
The Cavs, they had 91 points at halftime. Oh my gosh. Felt so bad. Let's see what else we got. More Maverick stuff. We'll look over that, and we'll talk about that another time. Jacob loved the granddaddy line. I love that. I hadn't even thought about that. Yes. And you know what's even funnier is his nickname, Granlund's nickname, is Granny. So you can have a granny and a daddy.
No. That's like
please.
That's like the Canucks collecting the Pedersons.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I absolutely love that. Okay, and you know what? I should do this. Shout out to Matthew, who I actually got to meet at the alumni game. We actually watched a little bit of it, so it was nice to meet him. So shout out to Matthew, and coming and saying hi to me. Any thoughts on the third period's line changes, even though they weren't struggling to score?
I mean, it's because the top line looked bad. I mean, the Robo, Hintz, and Johnston did not play very well together tonight, and they got scored on twice, so DeBoer broke it up. I think it's what it came down to.
Is Essa the only reason why the PK is so dominant? No.
I think so.
But he is, well, I mean, it's not just one player. One player does not make a line or a team. But Is he responsible for like 90% of it? Probably yes. The other 10% is like Colin Blackwell and Oscar Back and, Rope Hens, Wyatt Johnston, those kind of
Sam
things. Which
Steele,
Sam Steele actually deserves a lot of credit there. He has been a huge part of the penalty kill this year too. Let's see what else. Some Dumba talk. Jacob saying exactly, Dumba is useless. He refuses to play the Dallas system. And Joe saying Dumba looked his best in the preseason, and it's been downhill since. Isn't that sad? Like, he looked his best with Miro, and he actually looked good. I remember watching the games and being like, okay, like, I was very skeptical when we first got him, but he looked good. And now he looks completely the opposite.
Apparently, he can only make his D partner look bad, and his D partner can only make him look good. So, that seems to be how it works out.
Okay, biggest winner, biggest loser. Who do you got?
Biggest winner, I'm going to give to specifically response goals. The Stars trailed 3 times in this game, and the amount of time they trailed was only about 10 minutes. The longest time they spent trailing was a little under 6. So that's huge. They found a way to make something that has been a weakness for them this year and has turned it into a strength the last couple of games, really.
My biggest winner, I will give it to Mr. Evgenii Dadonov. He deserves way more credit than what he's getting right now. This has been his best season as a Dallas Star, and I hope it continues. Who is your biggest loser?
My biggest loser is Matt Dumba. And Mr. Pew Pew Parton over here in the comments says that he is also the biggest loser, and he calls him a pylon. Incorrect. He's worse than a pylon. He doesn't sit in front of the net. He'd be better then.
He goes to the slot and tries to score a goal.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with my biggest loser, right?
Yep. Go for it.
My biggest loser is he who must not be named. He will never be named ever again. And he is, I might just call him the biggest loser, even if the Dallas Stars lose a game like 7-0 or something like that. And he's still going to be the biggest loser.
It's a bad game.
I'm just going to be like, you know what? I don't feel like calling the Stars, one of the Stars, a biggest loser. So he who must not be named is the biggest loser. So, I still don't understand it. And I could go into a whole half-hour thing just about that, but it's nice to get over that. Stars are able to get the win here tonight. There's at least a little bit of lightheartedness in the air of the American Airlines Center tonight as everyone goes home happy and goes to watch the alumni game happy as well. So that was also a lot of fun. Anything else here tonight, James?
Nope. Keep scoring goals and you'll win games.
Amen. Thank you guys so much for following along with us live this evening. There's even more of you that are listening afterwards. We really appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. Please go and use DraftKings Sportsbook, their Pick 6 option the next time you are there. Use the promo code THPN, and that lets them know we're the ones that sent you. If you're listening on the audio side on your favorite audio platform, leave us a 5-star review. If you're listening on and watching on YouTube, click like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss us when we go live, like after crazy trades or after other giant crazy trades that I hope never happens for the Dallas Stars. Please, Jim Nill, never do what he who must not be named ever did. And as always, we appreciate you guys, and Starcastic Remarks is the website. Thank you guys so much for following along with us live. There's even more. Well, hold on. Oh, no, I messed it up. Anyways, along with James, along with Ryan, I am Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. James, you want to take us out?
GG boys.